pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
Make a motion that we accept the minutes as written.
I accept. Second.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Staff, read up our first case, please.
We have one case tonight. It is case number 7-21-A. The applicant is the Hindu Society of Greater Cincinnati, located at 720 Barge Salt Run Road. The action requested, the applicant is requesting that the Union Township Board of Zoning Appeals grant conditional use approval for the expansion of the existing Hindu temple, accommodating a building addition in accordance with section 612.8 and 622.5 of the zoning resolution governing the expansion of the existing religious institution within the R1 single-family residential district. This conditional use seeks to authorize a 1,444 square foot, two-story temple addition on the southern side of the building. The upper level will house expanded areas for deities, whereas the lower level will house a classroom, meeting room, and other relative facility space. Additional restrooms are also provided within the proposed expansion. The subject property is located along the northern side of Barge Salt Run Road and along the terminus of Claddy Road, with the property running along the western edge of I-275 in the northwestern portion of Union Township. The applicant has sought and received several conditional use approvals to operate the current religious institutional use on the property for several decades. Most recently, the applicant received approval for the construction of a gazebo on the site. The primary access entrance to the site is along Barge Salt Run Road, as previous conditional use approvals have required the gate located along Claddy Road be permanently closed, secured through electronic gate mechanisms and codes, and not box locks to utilize only by fire and police emergency responders, and designated on the plans as emergency access only. Now the applicant plans to construct a new two-story addition onto the existing temple in order to create additional deities at the temple. The proposed expansion will also include a classroom, meeting room, and restroom facilities, as well as a storage, with the goal of accommodating growing activities and attendance at the temple. Since the site is governed by previous conditional use approvals, the proposed south wing expansion project will also require use approval consistent with section 612.8 of the zoning resolution and in accordance with 622.5 due to the underlying R1 zoning district designation. After reviewing the proposed variance request submitted by the applicant, the following observations can be made. The existing lot area appears large enough to accommodate the proposed south wing temple expansion, since the lot area exceeds 100 acres based on the available records in Clermont County Auditor parcel data. The proposed south wing addition will be more than 50 feet from the adjoining property line. Parking areas are already furnished on the property and access roads are constructed to the site. Principal access should remain limited only to the improved access point along Barge Salt Run Road, with the gate located at Claddy Road permanently secured and locked to be accessed only via electronic code secured gate or via knockbox key for emergency access. The proposed deity expansion shall illuminate the materials and construction of the existing temple, and landscaping and lighting plans shall be required at the time of the final development review. Some recommended modifications should the board elect to grant favorable consideration to the proposed application. 1, building elevations and materials shall match the construction of the existing temple and shall be subject to administrative review and approval. 2, the primary access entrance to the site shall remain at the Barge Salt Run Road entrance as required by previous conditional use approvals. The gate located along Claddy Road shall remain permanently locked, secured through an electronic locking gate mechanism controlled via keypad access or via the knockbox lock and key system to be utilized by fire and police emergency responders and designated on the plans as emergency access only. 3, provide an updated landscaping plan for administrative review and approval during the permitting process. And 4, to provide an updated lighting plan for administrative review and approval during the permitting process. The action required tonight is to approve, modify, or deny the applicant's request for the conditional use approval in case number 7-21-A as submitted based on evidence, testimonies, and findings of fact.
Thank you. Is there anyone to speak in favor of the application? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. I'm William Fiedler, architect. I've been here before you several times with the Hindu Society. I think it all started back in about 1992 when they had growing pains from the standpoint of a house that they owned in downtown Cincinnati. And this property became available to them, and it was an ideal location from the standpoint of the society's population and where they live in the community. We started with the temple as first phase, and like the gentleman said, there's been some gazebos that were built on the property. This is a special service that they have, like a wedding ceremony where they have prayer services for the bride and groom. There's a tot lot that was built on the backside, and a previous application allowed a expansion onto the north wing. This matches that on the south side, south wing. And what has transpired through the Hindu Society's faith, they have a ritual called reincarnation. And this is where a deity exists, and it is then influenced by time, society, religious doctrine, and that reincarnation brings forth a deity under a different name, still the same principles, and yet it gives the devotees an up-to-date method of prayer. The wings will hold that deity, and it is going to be presented to devotees that are already in the temple, and they just want a different path to travel, a newer, more up-to-date path. This will also be consistent with the design of the temple from the standpoint of materials and fenestration that exist on the temple now. And we have always put this in the perspective of growing pains. And parking lots have been designed accordingly for accommodating the people. Like I said, it'll be a small influx of new people, majority catering to the people that already exist. And we would hope your blessing on this, because I think it will give these people a lot more flexibility in their religion, and the amenities inside the temple on the present lower level. A family donated several thousand Hindu Sanskrit books to the temple as a library. That exists down there now. They also have a reading room down there, so anyone that wants to study or enlighten a young person, they can go do a little bit of homework in the library area. That is being retained as is, with respect to a small portion of it dedicated to hallway to accommodate access to the new expanded wing. They presently use that same reading room as their conference room for board members, staff meetings, and what have you. We want that to be pulled out of there and put into a new meeting room, and again, serving a multiple purpose as a classroom also. New toilet rooms and a different way out of the back of the temple for ADA requirements. New stairway coming from upstairs to downstairs. And we feel that this expansion of the lower level day-to-day operations and the placement of the new deity upstairs on a new platform, a new podium, very similar to what you gentlemen have here, gives a lot of credence to the people that continue to expand their knowledge of Hinduism, and it will be a great help to them and their youngsters. We hopefully will be able to receive your blessing, proceed into working drawings, come back for a final zoning certificate, building permits. While we're doing that, we would be collecting bids, prices of construction, and hopefully it would all mesh together as a start date for the construction of the wing. The exterior of the building will be, like I said, a replica of what is there. There are 2 domes on that south wing, excuse me. They will be taken off, expansion made, and set back on the new corners of the new expansion, so it appears the same way. It's just a little bit wider north to south and a little bit forward. And I think it'll be a real asset to the community. We have worked with a family in India, and they are temple artists from the standpoint that they do a lot of metal, decorative metal tappings, and we are embellishing the inside of the temple with that designs. And the fascia of the entries will have that tapped metal on each one of the faces. That would be the part that we see as over the main entry, protecting the entry, but yet clad with that. And these guys are fantastic. I've been over there, and they sit there with a little hammer, and they'll spend days and days and days to tap out of copper a replica of an angel. And I always have a joke where the gentleman I was working with, the temple artist told my friend, well, you know, in about 2 or 3 years, that copper is going to turn blue by oxidation and tarnishing and what have you. He says, well, I can't have that. We want it to look like it is. He says, I'll take care of it. So they took it down the street and hit it gold-plated. A very millimicron level of gold on it. That'll be over each entry, the side and the front. The domes are already gold from the standpoint of that particular metal being made in the United States. So we're trying to pick up that motif. On the upper elevation, there's 2 issues there. This particular deity, in its proper ritual of respect, they require an 18-step prayer service where they go up a step, say a prayer, go up another step, and say a prayer. Very similar to what they do in downtown with respect to climbing the steps up to the church in Mount Adams. And that ritual is they steal the statue of the Virgin Mary, and then all the people pray to get it back, and it happens every year for some reason, so that's pretty unique. This one will be 18 steps, and with respect to my grade level to floor level, the steps are going to be about 4 inches high. So they can take an easy step, say a prayer, and move on to the next one. And pretty soon they're into the temple, giving due respect to that particular deity. The back stairway is code requirements to get out of there. We're getting enough head count in there that I need multiple ingress, egress capabilities. Of course, we have the front door and the side door. There will also be along the back side, which is the 2-story side of the building, there'll be another way out of that lower level on the back side. Plus all the other exit doors with respect to both levels are attached to open areas inside the present building. So it's a pretty easy fit of come and go. All the handicap toilet rooms are present in the existing structure. Even though I'm adding a toilet room, that's just to help take care of some additional head count. We seem to be able to take care of the guys pretty easily with respect to toilet facilities, but I think there's always a backlog in the ladies' restrooms, and that's what we want to pick up on and help out. Pretty simple addition, yet it'll give them everything that they need. It'll give them a platform that they can add the deity. And what they do right now, they are dealing with a deity about that tall. And this is just a representation. The ultimate deity will be an actual cut stone deity about 5 foot tall. Every one of them over there on the main platform are big. And that's very unusual for temples because they always dealt with small ones. A lot of times they go through a ritual where they bathe the deity in respect to its maintenance and upkeep. They treat him like a living being, where they actually offer it food, they cleanse it, wash it. They wash the little one, not the big one, so that's a help. And I think it, again, gives them fulfillment that they are able to honor that particular deity and expand their knowledge of what that deity stands for. And I think it's going to be a fun project. And if any of you get a chance, have any of you ever been inside? Because we got a lot of carved brass and gold panels on the entry doors in the lobby. And then we wanted each one of the deities on the platform being in a little temple inside the big temple. So there's a dome over each one of the deities inside. And it's come off very well. And we got a lot of compliments from people traveling that stop into this particular temple to say a prayer. And they feel really gratified that we were able to represent deities that they respect and honor in the way that we did it from the standpoint of individuality. We did not put any one deity in the middle of the temple because they felt that this temple was all-encompassing from north to south, all the way through India. If we put one deity in the middle, it would show preference to that deity. So we spread them apart. And we put their prayer symbol in the middle of the temple, and that's called Om. That's when they pray. They start Om, and they go into prayer from that. That's a vibrating system through your body. It helps you think, meditate. We made it out of glass, and it looks like a big ant sign. And it was about 4 feet wide and 6 feet tall, and it came from Venice, Italy. And when we commissioned the glass master to do that, they shipped it here. He came over and helped us put it together, and it was pretty striking. And they got it lit up with different colored lights and what have you. These deities in this particular wing will be featured with their own spotlights and highlights, and it's going to be exciting to see that happen. Do you all have any questions that I can help you with?
No, sir.
The deities that you referred to are going to be on the second floor.
They're all upstairs, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't notice any elevators or ramps or anything for
They're all
potentially handicapped people to get up there?
Yeah, they're all in the main core. The elevator is in the lobby now. It takes you from lower level to upper level. And there is a ramp on the left side looking at the front of the temple.
Okay.
There is also doors around the back side for the lower level to go out to grade. And that's one thing I've been consciously aware of. I'm over-exited, but that never causes a problem. That helps out.
So the totality of the structure would be ADA compliant?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah. Has to be.
okay. Any other questions from the board? Is there anyone else to speak in favor of the application?
I would hope they all would come up here and in favor of it.
Is there anyone to speak in opposition to the addition? Come up to the microphone if you would. Did you fill one of these out?
I did. Dan Barnes.
All right. You swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. My name's Dan Barnes. I'm the pastor of Eastgate Baptist Church, right next to them on Barg Salt. I have no opposition to building the building at all. The only thing that sounds different is they're going to start using that south entrance to go in. Before, my understanding was that was just supposed to be emergency access, and then they entered through the Clatt entrance. And this is my understanding. I don't know that it's true. But now they're going to close that Clatt entrance and use this south entrance. The only thing that I have a problem with is that that's our property that goes through there. They're coming through our property to get from the road to their property. And all I'm asking is that if they're going to do anything to that entrance, it's going to be used a lot more. That's going to hold us responsible if anything were to happen on that property. And I'm suggesting that maybe they could purchase it from us if they want to use that entrance.
This is with the Barg Salt entrance. We're speaking of the Barg Salt entrance.
We are speaking of the Barg Salt entrance.
There's dedicated right-of-way through there. That's public right-of-way. It's either Township or ODOT right-of-way. You may.
Even though it goes across our property?
Correct. There's a
Okay.
public highway easement over top of that.
Okay.
So it's public thoroughfare. That access is permitted. It's lawful. and
Even if they build a grandiose entrance, is that permissible?
That is, what they have now is permitted, yes.
Okay, so if it's
So-
expanded, that's even permitted more.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they don't put anything inside the right-of-way.
Well, there's rock wall there and so forth.
Right, I mean, it can't, so we have that everywhere. I mean, there's retaining walls.
Well, that's
and
fine, I'm not opposing,
No, no,
I'm
no,
just
no.
saying,
It-
are
absolutely.
we,
Yeah,
you
so
know.
that would be reviewed,
So they're
there would be a
property.
review on that.
So their property line spans Barg Salt to the far side?
it does, it goes to the other side.
So the age of Barg Salt
It's
is
like my
very
property
old.
goes to the other side,
Yes.
32, but 32,
No, and it does, and so what happened was when they put the highway through there, and then they put the overpass in, there's an old spur that went kind of through there, and then it went around and then over. So what you have now is the present configuration, and
Correct.
what ODOT would do is instead of actually dedicating the right-of-way like you would see with the new subdivision, where they actually pull it out of the parcel record, a lot like 32, what they did is they just went over and slapped easements on top of it.
right.
Because that's the fastest way to do it. And they did a lot of that back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and they're still doing it today, quite frankly.
But I believe that negates any liability for the owner of that parcel.
I mean, I'm not,
because the-
again, I'm not an attorney, but it's a public roadway.
I believe
And
it is.
so,
I just didn't want to read.
yeah, you're not, I mean, it's,
So I would be permitted to put an entrance in there too if I wanted to, anywhere along that road.
you have to have your curb cut approved. Your
But
curb cut-
you're saying that I
You
could
have
if I
one.
did.
You have one, yeah, you have. a
I know,
curb
but I
cut
could
now.
put another one in, is what you're telling me, because we have access because of the easement. So we would have the ability to do that too,
No,
if we
you're-
sought it.
You're misunderstanding.
Okay,
So you have frontage on Barg Salt,
Correct.
right? The totality of your development is reviewed when they
Okay.
look at your curb cuts.
I'm just trying to learn, I'm not
No, I
trying to be
understand.
opposite. Apologies.
So if you have your curb cut now and it's approved,
Mhm.
generally, well, and again, it would depend. I mean, there's churches that have two ingress egress easements, like Glen Estee Baptist does. So it could be possible that you could get a second access drive
Okay.
on that roadway facility, but it has to be permitted and it's part of a commercial review process.
Correct. Was
Yes.
that one permitted?
Yeah, I believe, yeah, it was a
Okay.
while ago.
That's all I needed to know.
All right,
Yeah, so,
I might be able to help.
yes.
When we explore that particular way again. If you could, please come up to
Come
the
up, you
microphone.
gotta come up to the
so
mic, Mr.
We
Fiedler,
can include it in the minutes.
so we can hear it.
This was a requirement of the planning commission way back when, that property had to have two ways in and out. And we only had Claddy Road at the time.
I understand.
And when we got involved in that, there was a gentleman owned one of the subdivision lots way back in the corner on Timber Lane.
That's one, some Timberknoll, Timberline,
Timberknoll.
something like that. yeah.
And his was a very large lot because it was in the bend, it was pie-shaped, fanned out towards the back. And he came to us with respect to, you want to buy my house? Well, we did, and we put a priest in there on a part-time basis. The back of that property was lobbed off and still making his lot comply to the subdivision regulations, and we hooked it as our entry into the Hindu property, because they did touch. And that helped us a great deal in getting that scheme to work. And it worked out very well. Thank you.
Yep, so, you can see here, so there's a highway easement. If you look at the photograph up here, and I apologize, for whatever reason, the screen resolution isn't right. But there's a highway easement that goes through here, kind of through here and here. It's all part of this bridge abutment and embankment. And so your right-of-way line for your parcel, if you can imagine, it's kind of like what you see on 32. There are parcels that go all the way out into the middle of 32.
I mean, you've made it clear. I
Yes.
just wanted to make sure.
But I wanted to visually represent it for you so you could see that. And so, looking further at, your property here, you have, I see, let's see, one access point there. And again, probably wouldn't be ideal to put it here.
I was just asking to find out if it was possible. We
It
have
would be.
no plans.
It would be, so if you wanted to go to the expense of constructing some additional driveway access, or were you to embark on an improvement project that would, necessitate a second way in and out or whatever,
No
obviously you have
plans,
to
I
pave
just
it.
want a clarification, that's it.
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah,
Yep, so we
thank
would go through a process.
Awesome. That's all I needed. Thank you.
Great,
You
thank
made it
you.
very clear.
Thanks. Okay, is there anyone else who has questions about the application? Is there anyone else who wants to speak in opposition to the application?
Do you have questions?
Yeah, just a quick question. I'm just going to introduce myself and my wife here. We just bought property on Clatty Road at the end. Our property's
Do you swear
adjacent
to
to.
tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, and we need their name and address for the record.
Randall Morris, 4907 Clatty Road.
We got it.
All right, so sorry about the quick start there, but anyway. So we've heard of things going to happen on the property, and we thought maybe we could get some information here more than anything about the plans for the property, and that's probably our primary reason for coming. We don't object to the addition. I mean, it's 1,400 square feet. It's not anything huge. I don't even know if the fire marshal would need to review something like that or not, but for occupancy rate. But anyway, more or less just a question of what else is going to be done on the property, and that was all we came for. So, do you have anything, Bill, that you could offer for that?
We do have a master plan, and it was.
Mr. Fiedler, step up to the microphone.
Up to the microphone.
We do have a master plan, and it was presented, I think did we go planning commission a long time ago, or just the trustees?
No, there's never been an approved plan.
No, just a
for-
presentation.
They have not presented anything other than what is being built currently.
Right.
But we had a master plan with respect to the temple, cultural arts center, a small clinic, because a lot of these Indian people are doctors, so they can take care of the old people. 101 houses for the aging elderly Indian people, and a 9-hole golf course, a lake. Well, we had 400-some people at that public hearing, and we had to transfer it to the town hall down at the nature center. And it got pretty rough and tumble, so the trustee says, let's continue this later. Just come back with 2 ways in and out, which we did. And that's where we stand right now. But we do have one we can share with you.
But nothing's been approved.
No, nothing's been approved.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah, there hasn't been any master plan approved. That's why we are here for this expansion is, anytime there was any plan to make any modifications, there would have to be a hearing either before us, the Board of Zoning Appeals, or before the trustees. Anyone else to speak with a question or in opposition to the planned addition? Seeing none, discussion of the board.
I don't see a problem myself.
You want to include under recommended modifications, item 1 and 2?
Yeah, I would,
I would at least those two.
yeah, if you're gonna make a motion to approve, I would make those as conditions.
Yes.
Including 3 and 4,
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, and 4.
and I don't think we need to add anything, any additional
No.
ADA
No, apparently not.
So it just comes down to who wants to read all of that. That's what I figured would happen. Okay.
You can do it, Brian.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Ford?
I'm prepared to make a motion to approve the applicant's request for conditional use in case 7-21-A, requesting authorization to construct a new two-story temple wing addition onto the existing Hindu temple facility for the purposes of adding classroom, meeting room, storage, and expanded deity wing on the south side of the structure, as submitted with the following conditions. Condition 1, building elevation, colors, and materials shall match the construction of the existing temple and shall be subject to administrative review and approval. Condition 2, the primary access entrance to the site shall remain at the Bark Salt Run Road entrance as required by previous conditional use approvals. The gate located along Claddy Road shall remain permanently closed, secured through an electronic locking gate mechanism, controlled via keypad access or via Knox box locking key system, to be utilized only by fire and police emergency responders designated on the plans as emergency access only. Condition 3, provide an updated landscaping plan for administrative review and approval prior to final development plan approval. And Condition 4, provide an updated lighting plan for administrative review and approval prior to final development plan and approval.
Is there a second?
I will second it.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk call the roll?
Roll call, Mr. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Walter.
Aye.
Mr. James.
Aye.
Ms. Kingsgrove.
Aye.
Ms. Ham.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Is there any other business to come before the board?
No, sir.
Okay, has there been any progress made on the discussions that we've had the last couple of meetings about,
Ongoing research, pulling some codes and making headway through deciphering and comparison to what our community is.
okay?
We're heading down the path.
All right. At least progress is still being made, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.